push the button. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a couple weeks. Thank you. Welcome back to the Mangalorian. I hope you're doing really well today. Jordan, it's been a couple weeks, man. I got caught up with a bunch of other stuff, streams and other things, and we're getting the band back together after being broken up for 2 weeks. And no, that does not mean we actually got into a fight. It's just we've been busy. How have you been?
I'm good, man. I've just had a lot of adult stuff to do.
Yes, me too. Doctor's appointments and my schedule's been a whack. But today we're talking about Manga Volume 12. So the Moro arc continues. The Planet Eater Moro arc is still ongoing. We're going to be talking about that. And what's interesting about this volume in particular is we're going to be introduced to, OG73, which is a character that, even to this day, it's been 4 years. Even to this day, people still ask about where the hell OG73 is. Where's the OG73 factory at? Are there more OG73s? This character really has captured the imagination of a lot of people.
Well, he's OP. I mean, I remember whenever he first came out and people found out that he could copy powers. He's a lot like the old androids, except he copies powers. It's just cool. He's got the crystalline thing going on, just like Android 19 and 20. So he's just an overall cool. He's just an overall cool character. I thought he was awesome too. But yeah, he has a lot of potential to use as an android who has that ability. It's really easy to fantasize about having an army of those running around stealing everybody's powers.
Yeah, they are very cool. Before we start, I want to address something. First of all, Abraxas gifted 50 memberships twice, so he gifted 100 memberships. Number one, I really appreciate this, dude. You didn't have to do that, but I've talked about this now for at least 2 months. We're phasing out our memberships, bro. Everything's been moved over to Patreon. So I guess you haven't been here. It's not your fault, and it's not that I don't appreciate it, but we're no longer doing members-only content anymore. Like,
right.
That's done. Like, we're phasing it out. Everything's over on Patreon. Patreon.com/geekdom101 is the place to be. I feel bad because you've already spent your money, and I've done the best that I can. I've talked about it on Twitch. I've talked about it here. I've talked about it on videos. I've talked about it in the community tab. I guess you missed some of that, and I feel bad because you already spent your hard-earned money on the memberships, but there's no more memberships.
Yeah, if you have anything to say during the stream, we'll look specifically for you, and we'll give you some attention since you gave us.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's not that I don't appreciate it, and I appreciate him. It's just the timing of this because
we'll treat your comments kind of like super chats to make up for it. So I'll be watching for your comments if you say anything.
Yeah, I agree. That's the least I can do. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just unfortunate because I really did my best to let everybody know. Okay, I can't give him his money back, dude. You understand that I can't do that. YouTube doesn't let me do that, bro. If I could, I would. YouTube literally does not let me do that. So please don't start saying stuff like this, bro, because you're gonna start to piss me off because
I wish YouTube worked that way. Unfortunately,
No, I wish. If I could actually go into the system now and cancel his donation, I would. You cannot do that, bro. I had a guy once donate like $600 or something like that way back in, like, I want to say like during Super. And then like a week later, I see him in the stream again and he's like, yo, can I have my super chat back? And I'm like, I can't.
Bro,
and
it's hard enough to get your money from YouTube, let alone get somebody else's money.
Exactly.
You know?
YouTube has enough problems paying us, and so that's what I wanted to just make that clear. That yes, your name is colored green. Actually, it is. I saw on my screen. It is. But no, I just wanted to make that clear to everyone. And this is not just about me. This is about any content creator. If you're ever going to submit a super chat or buy a membership, it'll actually tell you, like if you read it, it'll say, please make sure that you know there's no it actually tells you that, like there's no refunds. Patreon will actually let you do that in some situations, but YouTube does not. So I just want to make that clear to you that before you submit anything to any creator, it doesn't have to be me. It could be anybody you like on this platform. Just remember that, make sure you're ready and hit it. But I do feel bad because this was very generous of him to do this. Like, it's very generous. And I just feel bad because there's no bonuses for him or the members other than getting the emojis and getting the cool name. I haven't totally gotten rid of memberships completely yet because there are still people that are on like older like 6 month long, and like people are still using the memberships for older stuff. Right, and then I'm waiting for it to phase out, but it hasn't phased out yet. There's still like, well, now there's 100 more people, but before there were still like 70 or so that didn't switch over yet. So I just wanted to make that clear. I didn't mean to take up a time, but I mean, I saw that and I can't just ignore it. Because a lot of YouTubers who are greedy as fuck, in fact, the majority of my peers would just ignore that and let the guy keep donating and then let the guy keep buying memberships and just be like, let it go and just ignore it and let the guy give him more money. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to at least communicate with the person, let them know how things are. Right. Because I believe it or not, I'm actually not greedy. Now, if you submit a super chat, obviously that gets priority. Always gets priority. But membership purchases, there's just everything's being moved to Patreon. So it has been moved to Patreon. So anyways, you ready to start volume 4?
Yeah, or
volume 12. I'm sorry, volume 12?
Let's go.
All right, let's get to it then. All right, volume 12. We left off with Moro arriving on Earth. And now what's happening is the people that are on Earth, remember, Vegeta is on planet Yardrat right now. Goku is with Mirrors in the world of Spirit and Time, right? I guess we can call it that, right? The dimension of Spirit and Time. And what's happening here is they're trying right here, look. He's trying to gather the toughest warriors. They got to get everybody who's on Earth together. Now, I like this for a few reasons. Number one, we haven't seen all the Z fighters work together. We saw a little bit of it in the Tournament of Power, but really since, I would say, the Resurrection F, see them work together to defend Earth. Tournament of Power was different because it was more like a tournament for the universe, but to see them all work together.
The Z fighters, yeah.
Yeah, and some of the characters that haven't gotten a lot of shine, because as Dragon Ball progressed, Toriyama found it more and more difficult to incorporate characters like Ten Shinhan and Yamcha and Chaozu into the battles, and so he focused more on the Saiyans and the kids. That became like a thing, right? And people criticize Dragon Ball for that. But it's very hard to find things for them to do. You know what I mean? And Super's no different.
Yeah. No,
You've got Goku and Vegeta who are god level against, and you got Ten Shinhan. Who are they going to fight? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So do you think, let me ask you a question. This is a little bit of a sidebar, but do you think this problem with characters being less useful, do you think that would be fixed if they just killed them off permanently? Is that's a solution to that problem? Because that's one solution, but some people don't want that, Jordan. The people want them to live and live happily ever after.
I think that they should just be put to the back until we have new characters that are learning martial arts that can learn things from them. Like Oob, for example, he could probably learn something from Yamcha or Tien Shin Han or like there's that kind of stuff. Pan even like if there's kids in the future who can learn like
Uh-oh, Jordan's freezing already, bro. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. I hope this doesn't happen the whole stream. I really hope that does not happen the whole stream. Did you guys, Jordan? You froze again, dude.
I'm going to if it happens again, I'm just going to unplug my Ethernet and just use Wi-Fi and see if that fixes it.
That would be that's
anyway.
the backwards of what you're supposed to do. It's gonna make it.
The problem could be my Ethernet cable. I've been flirting with what the idea because I've been trying to figure out reverse engineer what the problem was, and that's literally almost the only conclusion that I can come to is that it might be my cable like going in and out, and when it goes in and out, it's like making me freeze. But anyway,
I heard that when things go in and out, you freeze. So,
but anyway, yeah, I just think it'd be cool to reserve them as like master characters, like with their own martial arts schools in the future, kind of like Dragon Ball Online.
Well, at least with Yamcha in the Buu arc, he straight up says, "I'm retired from fighting." So at least we have like him. At least he's there just to hang out. Until this, because he wasn't even in Resurrection F. He wasn't even there. So yeah. All right, let's move on here. So here comes Moro's armies, I guess you can say. Moro's minions, so to speak. They're on their way to Earth, and they're trying to, and we have names here, Shimoreka and Yunba. They're good, and OG73, which we're going to talk about a lot, because now we have OG7. Again, I talked about it. This is the beginning of the OG73 era of Dragon Ball. And I say that because, Jordan, I know you were around. Do you remember? I know that nowadays not as much as then, but do you remember how much people talked about OG73 during this whole thing? I mean, it was like, dude, I got questions like, is OG73, are there other androids like him? Maybe. Is there an alien Dr. Garo? Maybe. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's crazy.
When they showed the other OG73, everybody exploded.
Yeah.
Kind of like confirmed like a fan theory in a way.
It's like an Ultron thing, almost like an Ultron thing. Yeah. And the closest we ever got to Ultron in Dragon Ball was the Metal Cooler film. So,
yep.
All right, speaking of which, here's OG73 against these hedgehogs. I mean, that's, brother, this has to be a reference to Sonic, which, for the record, folks, I love me some Sonic. But Sonic borrowed nearly everything from Dragon Ball, and that's not a secret. I have a whole video on it. Am I overthinking it, Jordan? Because I don't know, man.
Nah, it could be a Sonic reference.
I mean, Sonic is huge in Japan. It's massive in Japan, just like how it is here. You know, it's funny, Jordan. I say this a lot, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. People say they want live-action Dragon Ball. And I tell them, I said, well, if you want live-action Dragon Ball, that's easy. Dragon Ball Evolution? No, bro. Watch Sonic 1, 2, and 3 and Shang-Chi. That's live-action Dragon Ball, basically. We don't need Evolution. Those are more live-action Dragon Ball than Evolution was.
Right.
Lots of violence here. I mean, here, if you look right here, this is an early example of OG73 stealing the Hedgehog's powers because he stabs this dude. What I see right here, you see like his the little crystal. Whenever you see a face in the crystal, that basically means that OG73 took your power, and now he basically stabs this dude with his own, like, what do you call those, quills?
Well, he holds the dude up as his buddies are shooting quills at him, and he has his buddies actually kill his friend. Like his buddies.
That's right. I'm reading it backwards. You're right. The buddies kill him, and then he takes their power. And okay, that's me reading left to right. Yes, folks, I've been reading American comics lately. Forgive me, Jordan. I forgot we're doing right to left. Seriously, I really forgot. And there you go, y'all. Don't forget. So now he fires him back at him. See, I remember this. Okay. They're all dead. Very violently with their own powers. He's just a killing machine who obeys his allies' orders. Oh, boy. So now this guy creates a portal, and OG73 sees it, which means that he can create portals now. Speaking of Marvel and Shang-Chi, that's a Doctor Strange thing right there. So bam, he creates a portal right there, dude. That Doctor Strange like a motherfucker.
Yeah, they were just talking about how they had 10 days to prepare for them to come to planet Earth, which was a cool, like, Saiyan Saga reference. And then all of a sudden, like, boom, they're there. Like,
I know. I like that, though. It's a big subversion, you know?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So moving on, they're all freaked out. 7-3 is there. We don't need a spaceship. There's Pasta, who's I'll give you 3 guesses as to what that name pun is. Who's trapped. And then here we have, I guess, the beginning of
he's about to. Moro actually sent him to assassinate those 3 because they kind of blabbed about Moro.
Right, these 3. Right.
Yeah, and then Piccolo stops him from killing those 3 because he doesn't think that's right. You know, or Piccolo with the moral high ground. But that's what's going on there. He was going to kill those 3 because Moro basically was like, "This is a message for Moro, like not to squeal on me." And then, you know,
how did they find the heavenly realm?
They teleported directly to it.
They
teleported directly to it using the teleportation technique. So they already knew about Earth, and they already saw everything. Like they saw earlier in the manga, they saw like all of Earth. Like they had scanned all of Earth and seen all of Earth. So they pretty much know all of Earth at this point.
They just, and I think I could be wrong about this, but do they not know that those guys are there anyways? Like they knew that the Dende and all those people were there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Moro's been watching them the whole time.
Pale Gray is right. It is the best traveling technique. Well, no, actually, instantaneous movement. Goku's teleportation is better, I think, because it's instant, whereas the portal you still have to walk through. So it's
right.
But I'm not gonna lie, like it's the second best traveling technique, I guess. So, and I'm gonna be saying, I killed this joke to death when the manga was running. OG73 gets behind Piccolo and sucks him. Yes, I killed that joke to death when the manga was running. AKA, he, hold on a minute. There's an error on the X feed. Okay, I think I fixed it now. Let me check. Okay, got it. Sorry, Jordan. There was like an error where the X feed wasn't streaming, but now it is.
Okay.
Anyways, because we're streaming this on YouTube and on X, so everybody knows. So, again, OG73 sucks Piccolo's power, and there you go, and bam, he instantly knows how to use the Makanko Sapo. Except, here's something to think about, Jordan. Barely any charge time, at least based on the manga panel.
Yeah, that's true.
Does it quick. Do you think in the anime version they could actually show him like charging it like for a little while and then blasting?
I actually think it's cooler that he doesn't have to charge it because if he's an android, he doesn't really. The thing is he's an android. Like they don't really expand on like the details of what that means for him as an android, but that seems to suggest that like he doesn't necessarily use ki in the stereotypical sense. So I think it's kind of cool that he can just copy their techniques and use them no matter how much energy it takes. I think that's cool.
He's far more advanced than any other android we've seen.
Right.
You know, like I think the only ones that come close to him would be the ones from Universe 3. Do you remember those?
Yeah,
those probably come close just because that planet has so many like mechatrons or whatever they're called, automatrons, that like that would make sense. But yeah, the anime, I actually hope you're right, because one of the things that people forget when you're talking about manga to anime is that Akira Toriyama, when he does like transformations or when he does like power-ups, time is difficult to measure because if you're reading the manga, it all depends on how your eyes go from panel to panel. And while Toriyama can somewhat control that, he can't always control it. So you're not going to have 6 pages of somebody powering up.
Yeah.
Whereas in the anime, for like an hour.
If you did 6 pages of powering up, Torishima would probably have a heart attack. Like that's a manga. No.
But right, and But that's something to think about, Jordan, because you and I talked about this before off air and on air. People, I think, fell in love with Takao Koyama's Dragon Ball, which is as opposed to the manga where power-ups don't take that long.
Yeah, Toriyama has even said in his mind the transformations took place way faster than they were in the anime. So yeah,
in the anime, it's then I think for dramatic effect, really, because it is dramatic to see like the mountains go up slowly, you know.
Right.
Daddy Geekdom, can I ask non-Dragon Ball questions? Why? I have an entire other channel for that called World of Geekdom. So, no, we're talking about Mangalorian, bro. Relevant questions, all right? I appreciate the super chat, though. I appreciate it. You know what, bro? You can ask a non-Dragon Ball question if you drop a $50 super chat. Then I'll answer it. I'm joking, by the way. They're going to use that against me, Jordan. They're going to clip that out. They're going to say I'm greedy. That's what they're going to do. They love to do that. Bro. I know. So anyways, OG73 not only can do the Makanko Sapo, he can also do the...
he can stretch his arms. He's Mr. Fantastic.
Yes, the Namekian arm stretchy thing. And Piccolo's like, well, shit, we're going to have to figure something out. So follow me. So Jocko and Piccolo are dipping to get him away from the heavenly realm. They go down to what's called the lower realm. And this is where the battle continues. So it's OG73 versus Piccolo. I'm so glad Piccolo got some shine. We saw a little bit of this last chapter. I'm very happy to see that. Hayden Blair, or Beer, says, is OG73 similar to Android 17 and 18 with unlimited energy? Or is he similar to Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 with battery? Or maybe he's different?
Yeah, I didn't speak on that because I'm skeptical to speak on it. I don't really think they ever explain exactly how he functions in that way. Like, I think he's just more advanced, like, really, to be honest.
My answer is that he answered himself. He is different. I think he is different. I think whatever powers him, it could be a battery. It could be that he's just got unlimited energy. That, like Jordan said, we don't have enough data on him. We just don't. Like, we just don't have enough information on him. So, so I would say he's just different. So, yeah. That's the safest bet anyways. You know, he's an alien.
Yeah,
he wasn't even made on Earth.
This fight reminds me a lot of that filler episode. You remember Dueling Piccolos?
The one where Piccolo's fighting himself around the pyramids and shit?
Yeah. This reminds me a lot of that. I think this is kind of like Toyotaro, like, nodding at that a little bit.
We just haven't seen the stretchy moves used as much as they could have, even in Resurrection F. And I love the fact that they're doing a Greco-Roman knuckle lock over here with the stretchy moves. We've seen this before, just not with the stretchy arms. And then, here you go. He's built different in the literal sense. OG73 is built different in the literal sense. So, yeah. So yeah, OG73 headbutts Piccolo. This is a fun little fight. Again, anytime that Goku and Vegeta are not fighting, I appreciate it because
and 73 is a good villain for Piccolo too. Like he's cool.
Yeah, and I love this. I love the stretchy arm, like fast, rapid motion. I'm excited to see. You know who would be perfect for this, bro? Naoki Tate. Naoki Tate as an animator would kill this fight right here.
Yeah, and the Moro arc has some of the most unique fights we've ever seen, like in Dragon Ball. I mean, like, this is like a new level of like a bunch of new characters coming around with like new abilities and stuff like that. We didn't get that in old Dragon Ball. We got a one big new villain most of the time who had like really unique, cool abilities. And they really just played on that one character for the most part, like Boo, Cell, and Frieza. But here we're getting introduced to like multitudes of characters who have unique abilities. So it is a new interesting thing to see.
One of the things that makes me hopeful for the future of Dragon Ball is that Toyotaro had some pretty creative ideas in this arc. Granted, we don't know exactly volume for volume what he contributed versus what Toriyama contributed, except for what he's told us. But we do know that the Moro arc was mostly Toyotaro and the Granola arc was mostly Toriyama. That's not only something I reported here, but later he publicly stated it
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do the sarcastic, oh, he's a fraud. You know, this week, Jordan, when I revealed the time gods, there were people in the comments saying that he's gonna be wrong about that. I love how every time somebody says I'm gonna be wrong, 6 months later they regret it, but they never apologize. They never say, oh, we were wrong, you were right. Never. They never. Except for the real ones. You know what I'm saying? The real ones do. The real OGs. No pun intended. That was not meant to be a pun. Speaking of which, OG 7-3 and Piccolo back and forth, blasting, mouth blast, another one of Piccolo's moves. So Piccolo's, like you said, dueling Piccolos. I hate saying the word dueling Piccolo because that's a dub name for that episode, and I hate English dub names, but the fight itself, I think that's a good name for the fight. Dueling Piccolos.
Yeah,
I'll give him credit, bro. I'll give him credit. So here we have the big teddy bear man against Krillin. He's almost like an alternate version of fucking Boltamo.
Yeah.
Yeah, Boltamo.
Yeah. I think all of the villains in this are like basically evil Universe 6 counterparts almost.
Right. Yeah. And then Mr. Satan there with some comedy. The truth is, folks, I don't think anybody can write Mr. Satan-esque comedy like Toriyama. Which, by the way, Jordan, I'm going to make it big for us to talk about this briefly. When I streamed Dr. Slump a couple weeks ago on Twitch, I made an observation that was something I didn't even think about until it just popped in my head. Did you notice that Mr. Satan in Dragon Ball is basically Dragon Ball's version of Superman, and that almost the exact same jokes that Toriyama used with Superman in Dr. Slump, same type of jokes, even some of the same exact jokes were used in Dragon Ball.
It's the false hero trope. Yeah,
but he does it better than almost anybody.
Yeah, well, the thing is like Mr. Satan is a lot like Superman on purpose, because
on purpose.
And Toriyama has he did like a little illustration of Superman and Goku together one time, and Superman is basically what Goku is the opposite of. Goku can't develop an egotistical sense of justice like that. Like he's not a false hero who like does heroic deeds for like selfish purposes. So, you know, he kind of crafted Goku to be the opposite style of character as Superman.
And he's not counterfeit like Superman.
Yeah. So bringing Mr. Satan in to play on that sort of dynamic between Superman and Goku, and just inventing a new character that can have that same dynamic with Goku, but within Dragon Ball. I think that's where his head was at. I think he was actually thinking about Superman when he made Mr. Satan. Like, I think so.
No, I think so too. There's, in fact, in the in Dr. Slump, Superman pulls out like 10 like tiles, and he does the martial arts like chop or the punch through the tiles, and he gets all of them except for the last one.
Right.
There's always, and in Dragon Ball, there's a very similar joke where Satan pulls out all these wooden tiles and punches through all of them, but misses the last one. It's the exact same joke, folks.
Well, he got those jokes from reading the old Superman comics, because in the old Superman comics, Superman was a jerk. Like, he was not. If you guys have ever read like the first volume,
you're talking about like Golden Age, like Action Comics.
Yeah, the first ever comics of Superman from like way back in the day, the Golden Era, he is a total like stuck up, egotistical jerk. Like, he's not like a nice guy. Like, he feels justified in doing some really crazy things. So he kind of took that and twisted it and made it into Superman. So
in Dr. Slump, see, when I talk about this, bro, it puts a smile on my face because Akira Toriyama, bro. I love that man. I love anybody out there who says that I don't respect Toriyama needs to have their head examined, or they're just lying to you to manipulate you. This guy Toriyama. So Dr. Slump, right? Senbei's talking trash about Superman, and he's pretending to be Clark Kent. They're at the coffee restaurant. So Senbei's like drinking coffee or drinking a soft drink, I think it is, laughing about Superman, and Superman overhears it and puts a roach in his drink. And Senbei looks at the drink and there's a roach inside of it, and he freaks out.
Yeah.
And then in the same chapter, in the same episode, he does the punching. He punches a hole through, or punches the bricks and misses the last one, and then Arale goes bing, and then the earth cracks in half, and then
Yeah.
Superman looks down at the hole that the earth has been cracked in half, looks down, and he's like, "I'm getting out of here." So it really is the same thing, because Arale's like Goku. Arale's a lot like Goku.
Yeah, she is. You're right. She is just like a. You're right. Yeah, that's definitely where his head is at. My favorite part of that episode is whenever he goes to stop that bank robber, and then the bank robber like shoots through his cape, and he realizes that he can get shot.
Yeah.
And then he helps the bank robber rob the bank, so he doesn't get killed. And then the guy who owns the bank like bitches at him, but he's like, "You son of a," and then like,
and he throws a bomb in
as Superman's leaving, he throws a freaking bomb into even the bomb thing. He does that whenever Mr. Satan and Boo are hanging out, right?
That's right. But with Superman, it's funnier because he's so petty and such a petulant child that he throws he commits an act of terror in Penguin Village and blows up the bank, bro. And I want people to really appreciate that about like Satan and Superman. So yeah, leave a like if you're stopping by. No, I think it's broken, bro. I think the like counter's broken. We always get likes before the stream even starts, so I think the counter's broken. Make sure you leave a like. Let's get back to it. So I just like talking to you about that because
Me too.
Mr. Satan's jokes, but my entire point with that big shift over is Mr. Satan. I don't think anybody, including Toyotaro, has been able to write Mr. Satan as good as Toriyama. You know what I mean? Not in GT. He wasn't even in Daima except for a couple scenes. Toriyama, I think, is the best at writing counterfeit heroes, if that makes sense.
Right. No, that makes
sense. Or even like what's his name? Not Gia. What's his name, bro? He does it for money. And I'm forgetting the Galactic Patrol guy.
Oh, Cashman.
Cashman does it for money. That's why he's called Cashman. He's a hero for hire.
Yeah. Joria is his name. That's his alien name is Joria.
Joria. Yeah, I said Gia. Yeah, that's a different one. What do you call it? Dragon Ball's humor originated in Dr. Slump in some way. Well, it's all from the same source, bro. That's Akira Toriyama, and that's the kind of humor he likes. He likes to do pervy humor and lots of subversions. So this fight is pretty good, I think, man. It's a lot of fun to watch or to read, whatever. And Piccolo's like, damn, I'm getting beat by my own techniques. And that's the thing. It seems like OG73, much like Cell, can improve upon the techniques he copies.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say any technique he gets, he can probably use it better because he's an advanced android in some sense. But that's what's so fascinating about him is because like it normally takes like years of like understanding like deep martial arts concepts to use like energy projectiles on this level, and he just does it automatically. So that seems to suggest that he has an understanding of their intellect as well as their abilities. It basically they kind of suggest that it's not necessarily that he just stores their abilities, is what I'm saying. Like you see him use their abilities, but even whenever Moro like uses him as a backup, like they seem to suggest that like it's more than him just stealing your abilities. It's almost like copying your data in some sense.
But his brain, probably because he is AI, a supercomputer, can compute things and execute faster. And that's why the only thing that can really match up against something like that would be Ultra Instinct, because Ultra Instinct is faster than the mind can think.
Right.
So, yeah. Okay, here comes Chad Han. Speaking of Clark Kent, here we go, who sees Piccolo in trouble, has to come to his aid. And then we cut to the dimension of spirit and time, where Goku is training with Mirrors. Of course, Mirrors has not revealed yet.
So this is a very, very important page. Hopefully I don't freeze up. Let's just keep our fingers crossed.
All
Okay,
right.
knock
Do you
on wood.
want what do you want me to
Knock on
focus
wood.
on? Yeah.
So this is in reference to the Tournament of Power.
Right. And
So
Goku being in a crisis.
yeah, so basically this kind of feeds into what I said in the last stream. The reason it's important that Goku is in a life or death situation is because that is what gets his heart pumping and his adrenaline going, and that is what creates chi. So, and that's also what creates autonomous movement. Your emotions, your body, it autonomously responds to danger, right? Now, for the angel, it's different. Like essentially, the angels are in a constant state of controlling any emotional shocks that they would feel to the point that they don't.
Naturally.
Yeah. They don't. That's the reason you'll see them experience emotion, but they're always in control of those emotional shocks. Now, Goku is very good at this too,
Yeah.
but just not at the level of the angels. Like Goku is like, whenever Goku was on Namek and he resisted the urge to kill Frieza and he like kind of leaned into his nature as an Earthling, that was him doing something akin to what the angels have mastered. They've mastered their ability to completely control their emotions to the point that they have no impact on their conscious thoughts or their decisions. So that's essentially what Miras is saying here. He's saying we need to replicate those. We need to replicate that situation so we can put you in a situation where you'll feel that huge emotional shock again and generate a huge amount of ki. So I just wanted to kind of explain that because they don't necessarily explain it the way that, as literally as I just did to you. They just kind of make a reference to what happened in the Tournament of Power, so that way you can kind of think critically about what happened in the Tournament of Power that caused Goku to be able to use Ultra Instinct. So
Yeah, right. No, and it's Goku still trying to achieve that. And to be honest, that's also something that I think we as people should work on. I was gonna say especially as men, but I do, and some people are gonna take that the wrong way. But one of the things that I learned, we're getting big window here. One of the things that I learned when I went to therapy in 2020 is this thing called emotional self-control, which, by the way, this past weekend, the Dragon Ball fandom showed that they have almost none of this.
Oh, yeah.
Emotional self-control is when something happens to you, instead of you stop, you control it, then you figure out what you want to do with it. Some people call it cognitive behavioral therapy. Some call it mindfulness. When you watch Star Wars, you hear, be mindful of your thoughts, Anakin. Be mindful of your thoughts, Obi-Wan. There's a reason as to why they teach that. Obviously, we know that the Jedi is supposed to be a reference to Buddhism. So is Dragon Ball. And those Buddhists train their whole life to be able to master this, to where they have emotional self-control, emotional regulation. This is important in relationships. For example, you're with a girl and she gets mad at you and she starts calling you every name in the book. Your urge might be to hit her. Like, you might want to commit violence on her. You might. Like, some people have that urge. But the idea is you don't do it. You don't cross that line. You control how you feel. You have a right to be upset, but you don't take it out on her. Control how you feel. Right? Stop. And then not suppress it. Just hold on to it. Then if you take martial arts, you usually have a bag in the martial arts dojo. You kick the shit out of it and let your anger out that way. That's one example of how to do that. Another example is, let's say somebody cuts you off and you start yelling at a guy, like, on the streets. You want to, you might have an urge to, grab a bat and whack him over the head with it. You might think that, but you can't do it because I hit this guy, I go to jail, and if I really hurt him, I could end up getting sued. And so the idea is stop and think. But Miras and the angels do this naturally, which I'm not even sure if a mortal can do it naturally.
There's this idea in Taoism about having a consistent nature. And what that means is that, let's say you're rich, right? The way you treat somebody when you're rich might be different than how you treat somebody when you're poor, right? When you're poor, you might be in such a desperate situation, and you might be so aggravated with your situation that you don't treat people with the same kindness as you would if you had a lot of money. Okay. So the idea is to be consistent with your nature, and because what they believe is how you treat each individual person is a reflection of how you would treat the universe if you were a god. Like, let's say you were a god, right? And you were in charge of everything. How you treat one person in their philosophy, in their school of thought, is a reflection of how you would treat the entire universe, or how you would rule, or how you would handle the entire universe consciously as a being. So even mistreating one person to them is a reflection of how you would rule or treat everybody if you had that sort of power. So it's a really, really important idea in Eastern philosophy to be able to control your emotions, because they believe that being able to control it is literally like divine. It's literally like a reflection of a more spiritual, a better part of human nature than just giving in to, the demands of your flesh. Like you were talking about somebody.
It's also in the Bible, that very same
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah. You're talking about, like, a man wanting to commit violence. That is a side effect of their animalistic, instinctual nature trying to grab a hold of
Same thing
them.
with adultery.
Right. That's them. That's your animal. This right here is trying to grab a hold of you and get you to do something that you wouldn't normally do within character. Right. Your emotions have such a huge impact on you that they can cause you to do things that are out of character. Anybody who's like studied law knows this, because this is like something that they have to like take into consideration when it comes to malicious intentions. When somebody attacks somebody or hurts somebody, were they under emotional distress? Or were they emotionally disturbed? Did something cause them to not necessarily be themselves? Like, this is important context. So that's essentially what Dragon Ball is kind of covering here, except they're covering it on like a supernatural and also an alien like level, because the Saiyans as characters and as creatures are just more easily dominated by this impact that their emotions have on their conscious thoughts than humans. That's the reason they act more like animals than we do, is because it's way easier for them to be dominated by their instincts and to do things that are, violent and destructive. So Dragon Ball is playing on that, like, that deep psychological self-reflection of mankind. Like, it's playing on that even here. That's the reason that like Ultra Instinct is kind of treated as like a divine technique, because this is playing on real life divine teachings, but kind of like reformatting it to be
For
fit
fiction.
like a shown. Well, they're changing it up to fit like a shonen martial arts show.
Well, like Star Wars did it for like a science fiction. What we're talking about is there's a word for it. The not the location. The there's actually a word for what you're trying to say, but I'm forgetting what the word is. I'm blanking out on the word. But it's basically when you take a concept, whether it be like Eastern or Western religion, and or whatever, you apply it to, like you said, manga. I mentioned Star Wars. Like you're taking something that normally wouldn't really go into that and and mixing it. But when you mix it, I think it makes the characters more interesting, because we can relate to them
too. Yeah,
we can relate to them as people, because no matter whether you're a Christian, a Muslim, a Buddhist, there's always, in the history of mankind, there's always been a belief system about behaving on your natural instinct, which is to sin. Christians and Jews and Muslims believe that we sin because of the fall of Adam. Buddhists, on the other hand, go more towards the inner ego and the animalistic side of things. So the
psychology, Buddhists look at it from a much more psychological standpoint than the Judeo. More about like symbolism and stuff like that. There is like psychological elements to what they talk about in the Bible, for sure.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
But Taoism and Buddhism like really break it down on more of a fundamental psychological level. Like a lot of like modern psychological literature uses terms from Buddhism and Taoism because it had such a huge impact on like our understanding of human psychology. So yeah. It's just much more psychological based.
No, it's not just the position. You're not using that word properly. It's another word, but I'll figure it out. Yeah. Well, there's. I'm not gonna go into this whole thing, bro, but there is something to do. It's really shaitan, but I'm not gonna go into that right now. You're right, but there's. I didn't want to go into the whole thing, like, because we'll be talking about. Yeah, we're on stream. Cody Wood said, "Have you ever seen Dragon Ball Comienza la Magia doblado? Found it on Tubi. It's a live action Dragon Ball from Asia. I bet Jordan has seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Not only have I seen it, but I probably saw it before Jordan did. Dragon Ball: The Magic Begins is nothing new. I watched that movie in like 2001. Okay, it's not new. It's been subbed for years." Maybe someday I'll do a video on it. Maybe.
That's a wacky movie.
I enjoyed it. I had a good time with it. Did you?
Yeah, I thought it was cool that they at least were smart enough to understand that the Dragon Balls were based on the Dragon Jewels, because in the movie,
Chinese.
Yeah, in the movie they make the Dragon Balls into the Chinese version of the concept, the Dragon Jewels, which I thought was cool. But I enjoyed that movie.
Yeah, it's nothing new for Dragon Ball fans. It's been around, and that is a good live action Dragon Ball.
It's more like a Journey to the West movie than it is a Dragon Ball movie, actually.
I had a feeling you were going to say that because it kind of is. What about the one we saw with Jackie Chan and Jet Li? I keep forgetting the name of it, and I have it. I bought it.
Kingdom?
The Forbidden Kingdom. That's another one people need to check out. Even if you are a Dragon Ball fan who hasn't read Journey to the West, I think Forbidden Kingdom's a good entry point for people who might not know Journey to the West that well.
Yeah, that one, or the 2014 Stephen Chow. Stephen Chow's the guy that did Kung Fu Hustle. Toriyama drew Sun Wukong for the cover art for that movie, so that's another really good one too.
Okay, this is kind of funny. All right, real quick, it's a little bit of a sidebar here. Chronicles just sent me a DM, and he goes, "You got a gifted membership. Enjoy the 1 month access to Geek the 101 perk starting now." That's from freaking Abraxas's earlier. I didn't know that it actually sent you a notification. I thought that when you go into your account and then you load up the channel, it does.
Yeah.
So but again, I have to give him the bad news and say we've moved memberships to this is why it's important, guys, to watch the streams and catch up. That way you know what's going on with the channel and stay caught up, so that way you know what's going on. So I'll talk to him later. Go ahead.
This next page is also important because there's been this huge debate online about whether or not Goku forgot meditation. Okay. And
that's because of what he says in Superhero.
Yes, but first of all, meditation is a literal requirement for Ultra Instinct. So the idea that Goku forgot meditation while he can still use Ultra Instinct makes no sense. Okay, it doesn't make any sense. Just like on its face, it doesn't make any sense. Now, I want to explain something here. The type of meditation that Vegeta talks about in that chapter is not the same type of meditation that Goku did as a kid. Okay? The type of meditation that Goku did as a kid is what you're seeing Vegeta do right here. Okay? So what Vegeta is doing is he is essentially basically putting himself in a position to where he is recovering from past trauma. Okay? And so basically what he's doing here is he's sitting for a long period of time and he's trying to achieve a peaceful state of mind so that way it will heal trauma from the past. It'll make him overall more emotionally stable. So you'll notice here he says your spirit is even less stable than Goku's was. First, you must achieve a balance between body and mind. So what he's saying here, so body and mind, when your body has a huge impact on your mental state, and your mental state has a huge impact on your body. So what he's doing here is he's simply just relaxing his body for so long that his body can heal from emotional and physical trauma, and that causes his mind and his body to and his heart to all be more in alignment with each other, and his spirit to become more stable. That is what Goku did under Popo. Okay. Whenever Goku was training under Popo, if you go back and read the manga, the only thing Popo does not explain meditation to Goku at all.
Right.
all Goku says, so I just sit here like this, right? And then Popo says, yes, this is all you do. You just sit here and you relax and you try to.
The anime added a lot to it.
Yeah.
In a good way, I think.
So in the superhero, what Vegeta is doing is he is programming complex movements into his mind by thinking over and over and over and over again in his mind until these moves become second nature within his mind. And then he'll go practice those moves using his body, and he'll engrave those moves into his body. So those are two different types of meditation. Jiren, for example, we saw Jiren meditating in the Tournament of Power, right? But Jiren didn't know anything about Ultra Instinct. He doesn't know anything about emotional control. He doesn't know anything about any of those things. What Jiren, you remember that move, Danny, that Jiren did where he used like the wall of punches that was like super ridiculously fast?
Of course. I love that effect.
So the reason he can do that is because he's programmed that series of movements into his mind to the point that he can do that movement instantly. Like the second that he commands his body to throw all those punches, he doesn't have to think about it. He just commands his body to do it, and then it does it. He has programmed those movements to where he can do them on command using his mind. And that's essentially what Vegeta was trying to do in Dragon Ball Super Superhero. He's trying to make it to where he can do more effective moves on command using his mind. It's basically the opposite of Ultra Instinct in some sense. Like it's Vegeta is training his mind in Dragon Ball Super Superhero, and under Popo, he's learning to steal his heart, which are two different things. When Popo is talking to Goku, if you go back and you look, he says stealing the mind and stealing the heart are two different things. And then whenever Vegeta is talking about using his form of meditation in Superhero, he says that I need to do this form of training in my mind. So he's using his mind, and Goku is trying to keep his heart calm. So basically, I just wanted to establish here that this type of meditation that Vegeta is doing, what this does is this makes it to where, because his spirit is more balanced, the energy that flows through your body, like Danny's talked about this before with like the chakra points and stuff like that. What this does is this makes it to where your energy, because you don't have any like spiritual or like mental or physical disruptions within your body, it makes it to where your ki can travel through your body in a more effective way than it could before. And you'll notice this later whenever Vegeta gets done meditating, you actually get to see this firsthand because Vegeta can project more ki than he could before. But yeah, I just wanted to make that clarification because a lot of people like hear the word meditation and they think that it's all the same thing when it's really not. There's a bunch of different versions of meditation. There's even like what's called shadow work, where essentially like you face.
I've done shadow work.
Yeah, like you face like a dark aspect of your personality of who you are, and you basically just learn to conquer it and control something like that when he meditates as well. So there's just like all different kinds of forms of meditation.
There's something called empty chair therapy that's similar to shadow work, but instead you're putting somebody in this chair. So for example, if you came from a household where you were abused, right, by your mom or dad or whatever, you put them in the empty chair and you talk to them like they're there. This is like that, except you're talking to yourself. Right. Okay, hold on. Okay. I have to address this because I have to. All right. Okay. Abraxasis. I mentioned this earlier. Thank you for the gifted memberships. He gave me 50 more. I'm going to say it again because I don't think you heard me the first time. We no longer have memberships on this channel. I left it open for people who already had memberships until they expire. We have moved members-only content to Patreon. Patreon.com/Geekdom101. I appreciate your generosity, dude, but this is not going to help anybody because I'm not uploading any more members-only content to YouTube. It's on Patreon now. Right. So I don't know. I feel weird, Jordan, because on one hand, the guy's being super.
There's only so much you can do. You know, like you've told him as many times as you can. Like, you know, there's only so much you can do. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. He did donate you some money too.
No, he did, and I'm going to get to that. He's a member. He gifted 50 memberships to people that are not going to benefit from it. Now 150. Thank you for the $20 super sticker. I appreciate it. And then a 50. It's not even dollars. I'm not sure what kind of currency that is. Do you know what the kind of currency that is?
I think it's from India.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe. Well, the profile pic doesn't look like an Indian guy, but then again, looks can be deceiving. I don't look like Frieza. But
Right.
anyways, thank you for the love. Again, I appreciate it so much. It's just, I explained this earlier. Gifting memberships to this channel, I'm not going to use memberships. Like, it's all been moved to Patreon. In fact, I took this off on purpose. Now I'm going to put it back on. See the scrolling text at the bottom? I'm going to have to I have to, bro.
Yeah,
Jordan, what else? In fact, I'm going to actually see if I can edit it real quick. Memberships and bonus content.
Yeah, they can still use the membership emojis. Yeah,
They can, but that's that. There's no extra there's no extra videos or anything.
right.
So I think I'll leave this on. Now I'm being even more than honest. Now you get to see the scrolling text at the bottom. So yes, they can use emojis. That's a fact. That's not going to go away. I just haven't disabled the memberships yet because there's still people that use them. Well, now there's 150 more people. But I do appreciate the generosity. Oh, so they're saying it's euros. It's
okay.
euros.
That makes sense.
That makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. I just look, here's the way I see things, y'all. Unlike other people on this fucking platform, so-called nice guys, I want you to know everything about like where your money goes, and if you're going to be kind enough to donate to me, I want to give you bang for your buck, and that's why I said over and over and over again that, you know, we moved it to Patreon for that reason. So let's continue. We just got done with one chapter, and we have like 4 left, and we still have we're an hour in. So
We got it. We got this.
We may have to breeze through a little bit quicker. Gohan versus 7-3. All right, Gohan's there. Finally gets to fight again. 7-3. I mean, it's right there. Gohan versus 7-3. Lots of action. I do think that Toyotaro's paneling is a little bit better here than it was before. You do see a progression of him improving, but these like diagonal panels, he uses them way more than Toriyama does, in my view. What do you think? Do you have any comments on that?
The reason he uses more diagonal panels is because there's more fighting. That's the reason he does it. If you go read Torishima's book, he will tell you are supposed to use diagonal panels to complement the movement of the action within the panels. So the reason that he's using them more is because he's using them to complement the movement of the characters within the panels and things of that nature. It really comes back to Dragon Ball Super being more of a battle-centric manga than like there's less adventure happening. There's like constant action and constant combat, and that's part of the reason that he uses these crooked panels all the time. It is also a stylistic thing. I'm not saying that it's not, but if you read Torishima's book, his use of them is justified, but it seems like too much because it's a battle manga and he's just using them so much.
I gotta pick up that book. I don't have it yet. Like I should have that book. I keep forgetting it exists. I knew it existed, but I keep forgetting it was translated. So
yeah,
I love this panel right here of Gohan getting behind 7-3 with the, you're done. By the way, Jordan, I know that you only watch wrestling with us sometimes. There was a match last Sunday, Will Ospreay versus Swerve Strickland. I called it the match of the decade. Brother, and I posted about it on Twitter. That is the most Dragon Ball-esque fucking match I've ever seen in my life. And the ending of the match is straight out of the 23rd tournament and the 21st tournament. They took those two endings and combined them. And even when one of the guys wins, right, he goes like this and falls back, just like how Goku did. Like this, and then falls straight back like he's tired, like he's dead.
Yeah.
Bro. And I know one of them's a Dragon Ball fan. I don't know about both of them. If you haven't seen that yet, maybe I'll show it to you. It was incredible.
Cool.
No, dude, it was, listen, I watch a lot of wrestling. I call it the match of the decade. So that's pretty high praise considering I've seen so much good shit
Yeah, and I know
throughout the
how
years.
fixed you are about wrestling, so yeah, that is high praise.
Dude, I've been saying for years that Will Ospreay's my dude. Boy, did he fucking prove it again. Anyways, let's get back to it. So he blasts OG73 away. Basically, and then Gohan's like, I know your moves better than anyone else. So there's that. And then Piccolo does the close beam right to Gohan and gives him the purple gi. So I thought that was kind of cool to see Gohan wearing this again. We haven't seen him wear that since what, the early Buu saga?
Yep.
Yeah, because he wore the tracksuit. And now he got gigantic,
we saw him wear in the Tournament of Power in the Super.
In the manga, right? The manga version. True.
Yeah.
True. Well, I hope in the anime when they get to this part, I hope he does wear the purple.
I'm sure he will. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so. Yes, I think they have no choice but to include Susanoo Goku in the anime.
Yeah, they're definitely.
I mean, why would they not? How are they going to end the arc? I think that what you need to do, my friend, is subscribe to Geekdom 101 Plus. If you go to my channel, I have another new channel called Geekdom 101 Plus, and there I did a video going into some of the CGI that'll be in the Moro arc, and that's an example of some of the CGI. So, continuing on. OG73 does the Namekian, or the Piccolo, it's really Piccolo that does it more than anybody, the giganticism technique. So now they got to deal with a giant. You would think that when they fought Cell Max, they would have had a few more strategies, which takes place after this timeline-wise. And it came out after this, too. They're going to try and fight him. I enjoy this, bro. I enjoy how much fun Toyotaro's having bringing back these moves that we haven't seen in ages. He brought it back before Superhero.
Yeah, and seeing Gohan fight OG73 as a giant version of himself, akin to whenever Goku fought Piccolo in the tournament, it's also like a cool callback too. Because this is a callback to whenever Goku fought Giant Piccolo. Like even the way that Goku is fighting him there is very similar to how Goku fought Piccolo whenever he was tiny in comparison.
It would be odd if Piccolo gave him Goku's gi in the anime. Well, no, I mean yes, but no. Like in this instance,
the first time that he ever gave Gohan an outfit, he gave him a combination of Goku's outfit and his. He gave him the blue and he gave him the orange outfit, but he had the
cape, right? Or
yeah, well, he had the Demon Clan symbol.
That's right. No, you're talking about Kid Gohan. Yeah, no, that's right. At the very beginning of Dragon Ball. Yeah, and the other thing I'm actually gonna add to this. Piccolo and Goku now are on the same side, and so Piccolo's gonna respect him. So I could see that. Like I could see him doing that in the anime, but I don't want him to. I want the anime to match the manga when it comes to how the characters look. You know what I mean?
And I do think that they'll put him in the Piccolo outfit just to match the narrative of Superhero, which is about Gohan mastering Piccolo's teachings. That's what the movie's about. So I think to complement Superhero, they will put him in Piccolo's gi. So.
Not just that, but also to complement him knowing Piccolo's moves here. That's why he even did that. Piccolo's like, I'm proud of you. You know my moves. Gave him the outfit. So
yeah.
Gohan with a freaking awesome looking jump kick. They're doing everything they can. They're going after his knees. They're, blasting him. 7-3 goes.
Fast, really. I mean, he's
no. And is Gohan ultimate here? I would assume he is. Yeah, I would assume he is. Yeah. And then, okay, let's see here. The fight continues. 7-3 gets up. He's about to grab Gohan. Gohan dodges. He's such a Chad in this fight, bro. I'm glad that we got Piccolo and Gohan doing stuff.
Yeah, me too.
Krillin shows up. He's doing now. This is cool. The stretchy hands with the giganticism. We saw a little bit of that in Superhero. I don't recall if we saw. I don't think it was in the original manga. Like both techniques combined. Yeah, cause that could, bro. You know what I would love? This is so wacky. I'm about to say something wacky as fuck. Can you imagine if Piccolo turns giant and then uses his stretchy arms to grab the sun and like throw it at? That'd be awesome, bro. He fucking chucks the. And don't say he can't do it. In the Dragon Ball world, dude, these characters are like galaxy universal level at this point. I think they can do that. It will fuck up the Earth's rotation, but whatever, bro. Defeat evil.
Everything's rotation, but yeah.
Everything's rotation, but that's okay. We have the Dragon Balls, and that should do it. We have Whis to protect us, right? So I love this. Gohan fires the Kamehameha. He runs up his arm the same way that Goku did in OG Dragon Ball. This is a literal tribute to the 23rd tournament. My favorite fight, my favorite arc. Right in the face and blast him right in the face. Then he triggers Piccolo. Well, it looks like he's triggering Piccolo's power. If he shoots it, okay, no, he doesn't. He doesn't blast him in the face. I thought he was gonna blast him in the face.
OG-73 loses Piccolo's power because he can only copy it for up to 30 minutes.
Oh, I forgot about that. See, my brain is not working today, bro. My brain is so not working
that's
today at all.
The reason he shrieks is because he loses Piccolo's power there. So,
bro, I'm actually worried about my short-term memory, bro. I'll tell you about that off the air. I'm getting old, bro. Maybe I have mad cow disease.
We all are, bro.
I know, but I have it really bad. So Gohan fires the Kamehameha down at 7-3. 7-3 says, use what you've got in stock. 7-3 looks, taps into Moro's power, which I thought was interesting. That was something that's creative, I want to say.
Yeah.
And absorbs it. He absorbed it. He sucked it.
Yep, and then he starts draining all the energy from the planet just like Moro.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Of course, that's foreshadowing because it's foreshadowing because we see the opposite happen later.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With Moro absorbing, or he eats him literally, which I thought was funny, but we'll get there when we get there. There's another Moro technique creating this like volcanic explosions from the earth.
Yeah, he's using it as a shield to prevent Gohan from being able to get to him while he's stealing the energy from the earth, which is really creative. Yeah.
And somebody tells Moro, and he's like, "Oh, they're using my techniques already." You know, and then he's like, they're supposed to be used as a last resort. And it's like, well, copying a useful power, but I don't like my neck being touched all the time.
Right.
I don't know. I don't like him touching my neck.
I don't blame him there.
Bro, why'd you lie to the guy, bro? Like this is wrong information. Never mind. Let me just continue. Y'all fight amongst yourselves, bro. I'm not gonna get involved. Right. Okay. Shimo Rekka switched to monitor mode. Let's see. And then now they're watching the fight from the ship. I thought that was kind of cool technology. And then now Moro tells him not to absorb the planet's energy because he wants it all for himself. So even though 7-3 needs it to survive, yes, I agree. 7-3 is a creeper. Like a lot of the Dragon Ball fandom. And then he needs it to survive, but he's like, don't use it anymore because he's greedy, bro, and he wants to suck the earth. Does it have a time limit? yes. So that's the 30 minutes you were talking about.
This is an important line right here from Moro. He says 10 million years ago he visited Earth, and that Earth was just a planet full of monkeys 10 million years ago.
Yeah, he's talking about like pre like when humans were evolved from apes is what he's referring to.
Yeah, but the fact that he had visited Earth in the past is interesting in itself, especially 10 million years ago. But he's saying here that he's surprised that the beings on Earth are so strong.
Yeah, but a lot of the ones in this fight are not just from Earth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but even having this many strong fighters on any planet is weird. Like any planet having this many strong fighters on one planet is like odd, you know. So they've bitten off more than they can chew. Yeah,
I would agree with that. Okay. Then we have the battle here with the Earthly, the Z fighters, I guess you can say, fighting Moro's guys. And this guy right here, 7-3, is charging up a massive blast. Again, I really enjoy the fact that we're seeing these fights without Goku and Vegeta. Like that's nice. One of the things I like about the Z era of Dragon Ball is that they were able to write a lot of fights. Toriyama wrote Goku out of a lot of the stories. So in the Saiyan saga, he's dead. in the Namek arc, he's on his way to Namek when everything is going on. And then he gets, put in the rejuvenation tank. In the Android arc, he has the heart problem, and then he has to go train with Gohan. And then in the Buu saga, he's dead for the first half, or for not the first half, the first 2/3. Then he comes back to finish the arc. Toriyama wrote Goku out of the main story a lot, which allowed him to flesh out other characters. We're seeing that here again, and I like that, Jordan.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, and I think it's cool that Jocko's a part of the team here too.
Yes, me too. And here's him doing this is Majin Buu-esque right here, because Buu does this to Vegeta, where he gets on top and does the full mount with the punches.
Yeah, that's also a wrestling thing too.
Yes, it is, and MMA thing. I mean, full mount is a legitimate jujitsu. Like if you get full mount,
bouncing on top of them using all your body weight on you see that a lot in wrestling.
Yokozuna's finisher was called the Banzai Drop, and that was basically this.
Yeah.
He sits on you. Somebody once edited it to where right when he comes down with the Banzai Drop, there was a fart noise. like right when he comes down.
That's
so
awesome.
Yeah, many years ago. Okay. So they're talking about Piccolo's confident in Goku and Vegeta, because they're obviously that's who it is. And then here comes Moro's ship. So now they're all freaking out because Moro has arrived. Moro is now on Earth. Didn't I call the stream?
Well,
actually,
Moro's not on Earth yet. He's still.
Oh, he's not? I thought that was the ship right there.
Yeah, but the ship is actually shows that they're on the. So the Caterpillar guys right there are the Caterpillar guys from the Otherworld tournament. You remember that?
Oh, you talking about the caterpillar from the other world, the Anoyoichi Budokai.
Yeah, this is a planet full of those.
They're also okay. It looked like I first damn bro. My brain is I'm embarrassing myself today, bro.
It's okay.
No, dude, I'm supposed to be a sharp knife, and instead I'm very dull today. I don't know what's wrong with me. You know what it was? Maybe those 2 weeks off fuck with my brain, bro, because they're right there and I didn't even see them. Anyways,
well, we're also trying to get through the stream in a meaningful amount of time as well, so it's understandable.
Yeah, I'm worried. I don't want to go like 4 hours. I don't think it'll take us 4 hours to get through. But all right, so I'll slow it down then a little bit so that way my brain isn't like too. What's the word? Again, I'm forgetting words. Yeah, there you go. See, I'm forgetting words too. I'll talk to you about that off the air because I have a suspicion as to why that is. And no, it's not weed. All right, before anybody starts.
Right.
Yeah. That's what this is. This is us rereading the manga over and over. Well, at least one time over again. Let's continue though. So 7-3's powered up by taking the Earth's energy. Gohan is down. And they're waiting for Moro. They're saying Moro is coming. In this instance, OG73 taps into the hedgehog technique of portals to get them out of there because they're basically saying, they're basically saying that like they're gonna let Moro handle it. So the fight is over for now. I do hope in the anime version the fight is a little bit longer. I really do. There you go. Brain farts. I've had a lot of them. Yeah, go ahead. What were you saying?
I'd say it'll be pretty long. I'd say animation wise, once it's animated, it'll feel a lot longer than what we just saw in the manga. Sure.
Well, I mean, it has to, but I hope that they add a lot more because that fight could be a lot more fun if we see more of the giant stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I think what they should do, and this is very Dragon Ball Z, is when OG73 turns giant, make an entire episode just on that fight, and then when he shrinks, save that for the next episode or the cliffhanger for that one.
Yeah, I could see that.
A lot of things they could do. Yeah, it depends because Koyama did that on purpose, whereas Kai and Super didn't really do it as much. So, continuing here, Mirrors is about to leave. He's saying,
actually, this is him. Basically just checking in on the Galactic Patrol to basically like keep his cover.
Well, yeah, it's 2 months they're going to go to Earth.
Yeah. Basically, he can't just like stay in the time chamber and ignore all of his responsibilities as the Galactic Patrol, in terms of Galactic Patrol. So he had to like come out and at least check with them and figure out when the best time for them to stop training would be so they can.
He has to calculate so they don't stay in there too long.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So the 2 months, the 6 months in there, that basically he determined that 2 months outside is 6 months inside. Therefore, Goku has 6 months to figure out how to tap into Ultra Instinct willingly.
Yep.
That's what's going on here.
Yep.
So and Goku is commenting on the food not being so great. Here we have Whis who's watching them. Now, it's interesting because knowing what we know about Mirrors, this is sort of like early foreshadowing, but this, we'll get to it. So the Grand Priest appears, right? And they're talking, right? And basically, this is important. Okay, so the Grand Priest says this, because this is important, going to come into play later on. He says, I don't suppose you intend to ask for your universe to be saved. I would never. We angels must maintain neutrality, siding with neither good nor evil. So what that means is that the angels have to stay neutral and can't get involved. However, I've always pondered about that, Jordan, because the angels, Whis training Goku and Vegeta is him getting involved, albeit indirectly. When Whis reverses time to save the Earth, that's also him getting involved. So it needs to be...
Grand Priest acknowledged that. Grand Priest actually acknowledges that because Whis like starts to apologize for it, and then Grand Priest is like, "It's okay, you did it all for the food, right?"
No, I'm getting there. I was going to make a point to this. I was actually going to say that this is where that's acknowledged.
Yeah,
because it's not about indirect involvement. It's about an angel actually getting his hands dirty. That's what it's about. Like, I can teach you stuff as an angel, but I can't actually do it for you. That's essentially what the real law is.
Yeah, the thing is like, okay, the angels are so powerful that if one of them was to fall victim to like a false perception of morality, it would be like destructive for the entire universe. Not only that, like it's against their nature. So let's say, for example, an angel did like decide to like give in to their their desires. Unless they were Mirrors, because Mirrors has like such a good heart that he's kind of the exception to the rule. They would be something more akin to Zamasu, right? Like Mirrors is kind of like the opposite of Zamasu in a lot of ways.
But there is a difference. Zamasu is a Kai, a Glind, whereas Mirrors is an angel from the Grand Priest. We find that out here.
That's true, but Kawasu tells tells Zamasu.
Yeah.
He says we have to stay neutral too. So it's also a rule for now. They don't get erased for it. It's just something that they try to practice. They just try to practice being hands off with the mortals and doing something akin to what the angels do. So it's very, very similar. They have to have some sense of control over their emotions and control over their actions if they're going to be gods, right? So that's essentially what's happening here. Now, if an angel, particularly because they have such emotional control, was to give in to leaning into good or evil, they would either be something like Mirrors, who, despite, doing things from a pure heart and doing the right thing, so to speak, he's still biased. So he would still do things in a biased way that would lead to an imbalance in the universe.
That's it.
That would cause the Earthlings to get some sort of benefit in the long term that they shouldn't be. Basically, it would make it to where their entire effort in developing mortals from like a hands-off standpoint would just cease to be. What separates the Majin from the angels is that the Majin in the demon realm, they are very hands-on about how they make their life and how they mess with their life. Like Majin Buu and Ku, for example. They literally created Majin Buu and Ku and then tried to control everything about what their actions were. The angels are the exact opposite. They want the beings to be created naturally, and they also want them to exist naturally. It's all about being in tune with nature and making sure that the law and order
balance
of the universe stays exactly. So it's more about that than it is anything else. That's
the
really
gods. The gods of destruction, the gods of creation are the ones that actually do the work. The angels are just there to kind of supervise.
Right.
So that's really what it is, and we find out a lot of that here in this conversation because this is going to go right into Mira's, like it says, chapter 55, Mira's true identity. So now this is interesting. He says, I dispatched my trainee angel Miras to Universe 7 so that he might learn about the way of things and broaden his perspective. So that's also new lore, and we should discuss that briefly. The angels, Grand Priest will sometimes send some of his children into the multiverse to learn about the civilizations and the balances, to kind of train while hiding their identity. Now, where is that from? Where did Toriyama get that idea from? Right out of the Old Testament, because there are several passages in the Old Testament in the story of Abraham where God tells Abraham that angels can take human form, and there's a scene where Abraham takes in these two guys that knock on his door, and he feeds them and clothes them and takes care of them, and they're actually angels. So the idea here is that in the multiverse, angels are walking amongst us, both maybe not just in Universe 7. We only see this one, but maybe other universes have other angel trainees, and they're there walking amongst the mortals. I think that's pretty interesting, bro.
It is interesting. Yeah, it's cool.
Because we guessed that he might have been an angel, but now we know for sure. So this here, see, this is the part right here. Beyond that single law, there's no restrictions on what we can or cannot do. His enlisting in the Galactic Patrol seemed a decent choice, as it would allow him to observe the side of good and virtue. But alas, he seems to have gained a bias. Just so, any further involvement would make him in violation of our code. So what's the difference between Mira's training Goku and Whis training Goku?
Well, Miras is just training Goku here, and that's fine. Like, he literally just says, as long as it's training, it's fine. But if Miras was to fight Goku at full power, if he was to, like, full-on power up and, like, fight Goku as though he was actually trying to hurt him.
And Goku even says, you're going to have to kill me to tap into my UI. Like, he says that.
Right. That, he's no longer, essentially, okay, think about it.
He can't do what Goku wants him to do.
They can fight from a Goku-esque perspective, meaning Goku only looks at combat from a sportsman-like mentality. He looks at all combat as sports, okay? Even whenever he's fighting you in a life or death battle, he's looking at it from a sportsman's perspective. He's not thinking about it from the same perspective as somebody like Vegeta. So the angels are not allowed to delve into that Vegeta territory where they're thinking about a battle as a battle for like to inflate their ego, to survive, or to like push some sort of agenda or some sort of cause. They're not allowed to fight for those sort of reasons. They are allowed to fight within the context of sport, but they are not allowed to fight within the context of like changing the fabric of the universe using combat, right? So that's really what it is.
Yeah, no, and everything you said makes sense, and I'm glad you explained it to the people. It's interesting, though, because I saw that criticism, like, well, what about Whis? And the rules, I think what it is that the rules were not clarified at first, but in this arc, they are clarified. So I don't know if it's necessarily a retcon. I think some would consider it that way. It just seems to be more like expanding on what they're supposed to do, using Miras as the character to do it.
It comes back to what I told you about them having control over their emotions. They're not allowed to let their emotions impact their mind to the point that they dictate their thoughts. Does that make any sense?
For me, it does. Hopefully the people get it in
the
chat.
second that their emotions like have an impact on their thoughts,
those watching later.
Yeah, the second that their emotions like have an impact on their conscious thoughts and their actions, they're no longer acting from neutrality. They're acting out of emotion. So they're not allowed to do that.
Whis says his actions with the Galactic Patrol have been limited to fighting with mortal weapons. He hasn't used his angel abilities. And at the moment, all he's doing is training Goku, no more than that. But when Goku says, fight me at your all, which he does say earlier at the end of the previous chapter, I think it was right at the end, Miras is like, I don't know if I can do that, because I might accidentally kill you and then what? You know what I mean? Because he's an angel. He could kill the guy. I mean, we're talking about real high power.
Right.
So, and then this is the part about the food, bro, about the earth food. So I want to see Grand Priest eat some of that earth food, bro, and then he'll understand. He'll understand then. So let's see here.
The Grand Priest says he doesn't want to lose Miris.
Right.
That's interesting.
I mean, that's one of his kids, right?
That does show that he does actually legitimately care. But I've always found that interesting because that shows that he has some. It's not a bias in the stereotypical sense, but the fact that he actually cares about his kids is in some sense a bias. So that is a really weird personality trait.
It's almost like a contradiction in a way.
It is. It is. Yeah, it's like a weird thing he's got going on there, but we'll get into that later.
We'll talk about that later, yeah. So Yardrat, we're on planet Yardrat here. Vegeta training with Paibara. I enjoy all this. Again, this is a part that I really hope we see more of in the anime. I would love an entire episode, right? An entire episode dedicated to this training and this fight and you know all that stuff. So let's break it down here. So basically, right, Vegeta just got healed. So they also know healing techniques, and now Vegeta wants to learn how to heal. It kind of reminds me of Trunks. But where would you gauge the Yardrat healing techniques in comparison to the the Namekian ones?
Well, I think the Namekian technique is probably very, very similar. Because what the themes for both groups of aliens is the abilities that you develop as a monk, as like a Buddhist monk, whenever you like develop like an understanding of the concept of ki. So I would say that the abilities that the Yardrats do are essentially there to sort of show that ki and magic are more similar than you would think, in the sense that they can cause you to do like reality manipulation and stuff like that. So
energy projection.
I would say that they're like comparable to each other. Like I'd say it's probably like completely based on the person's ability to use that healing technique more than anything else. So
Danny, you could probably tweet at someone in production and get this type of def added for the Yardrats. No, I can't, bro. Some people really overestimate my power. I would love it if there is no way I could tweet at somebody at Toei and tell them to do something and they listen. Right. I would love to be able to do that. I do not have that power. So it's like that guy who said, hey, Geekdom, you should raise money to buy Toei. And it's like, okay, Toei's an $8 billion company.
You know, I don't know.
Don't worry, Jordan. I'm going to start my GoFundMe and get $8 billion. What were you saying?
I don't know if they say it here or if they say it later or if we missed it. But at one point, Paibara says that that he can sense the spirit of the planet.
Yeah, he says it. Well, he says wonderful spirit power. Maybe it's a little bit further down.
It may be later, but yeah, at a certain point, he says that he can literally sense the spirit of the planet. I was rereading the Moro arc and I noticed that, and I thought that was really interesting because we've never had anybody sense the ki of a planet before.
It's almost like that whole Gaia thing, how they say the planet's alive.
Yeah, and this arc particularly really leans on that, with Moro constantly stealing the planet's energy, and then him saying that he can sense the planet's energy. It's really interesting.
I love this guy. I know he's joking, but Tarble was created by Akira Toriyama. Again, bro, everybody makes up their own canon. Everybody. So here we have Zarbon 2.
Yeah, Zarbon 2. Yeah.
Basically, I mean, he dresses just like the guy. He's there. And for some reason, this dude is here to stir shit up on Yardrat. And Vegeta is here. I like how Vegeta points to him and says, not on my watch. This is so like Vegeta being like a great Saiyaman-esque hero defending the Yardrats. Yeah. And that pops me, bro. Yeah.
Well, Vegeta's personality changes after the meditation. Like he acts a little bit different because his spirit is in more balance. Like this is almost in a sense making Vegeta stronger and doing character development at the same time, which is really, really cool. But like So you notice how Vegeta was not consciously aware of the effect that the meditation had on him until he went to fire his blast?
Yeah, and that's the thing. When he pointed the finger, it wasn't like Vegeta commanded. We got to clarify this. This is not Vegeta blasting the guy. This is Vegeta. He just pointed the finger to like warn the guy, and energy came out of his finger to attack Zarbon too. So
Right,
he's like, wait a minute, what the fuck?
Yeah, he did. Well, he does try to shoot a blast right there. You'll see it that he's charging it on his finger. But when he shoots it, it's like way freaking bigger than he realized. Like basically, and the Yardrat.
He's gotten stronger.
Yeah, he couldn't put out as much of his energy as he could.
He barbecues
Or
him in
he
this
couldn't
panel.
put out as much energy as he can now. Now he can fire more ki than he was able to fire before because his spirit is more balanced and he essentially doesn't have all of that trauma and stuff, like basically making his he's not like there's the energy can travel through his body better than it could before because he doesn't have stress and stuff like that causing his blood and his airflow.
It says it right here. Before your training here, your body and spirit were so off balance that you couldn't project your own power very well. Meaning you have already grown strong since I arrived. You sure have, by leaps and bounds. That's something people have to remember. Because I do think that people really undervalue or undersell or downplay how much more powerful Vegeta is in this arc. Think about this. If we go back through the series, not just Super, Z as well, what this means is that the entire time that Vegeta was on Earth fighting or whatever, he was so off balance that he was not even remotely tapping into his true power. Yep. You know what that means, Jordan? That
he was
means
stronger this whole time. Yeah.
No, bro. Yes, but I'm gonna add another layer to it. In my view, that means that throughout the majority of Dragon Ball, Vegeta may have actually been stronger than Goku the entire time and just not known how to use his power.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that is what it is. Like basically, people undersell the value of this type of training, of this type of martial arts style training that Goku went through as a kid, his entire life. People don't realize how
Vegeta never did that.
Yeah, people don't realize how important that is to the concept of ki and how ki or chi works. Like the entire idea of being able to have more life energy is centered around the techniques that Goku learned as a martial artist as a kid. So Vegeta, of course, if he went through that as somebody who was born with more power and is considered elite in terms of his genetics, of course he would be superior to Goku if he had the same sort of understanding of those things, you know? So yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Bro, here's what I'm saying. There is a possibility, a high possibility, that throughout the entirety of Dragon Ball Z, Vegeta was stronger than Goku, including even Super Saiyan 3. Hence why, this is why when Vegeta did Super Saiyan 2 in Battle of Gods, when he got mad that Bulma got slapped, Roshi said, oh shit, he surpassed Goku. And even Vegeta said that. I think this ties everything together very nicely. Because Goku already trained with the Yardrats. Right. He already learned all this shit. Which means that Vegeta was always the strongest, like, of the two. But he was too much of a bonehead to realize it. I'm going to make a whole video about this sometime.
Well, it depends. Okay, so if by...
He didn't know how to use his body properly.
Right. He had the potential to be the strongest. But because
if he had his body and spirit balanced, he would have been the strongest.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
So he was.
Right,
yeah.
Right. Well, he basically, but you have to consider him not being able to use his energy well as him not being stronger is what I'm saying. Like right. He had the latent energy to be stronger if he wasn't so boneheaded and egotistical, like you said, and that is very interesting.
And trained the same way Goku did. And this is why, when this arc was coming out, this is why I have said, Jordan, that when Goku trains Oob, that there's a possibility, because Oob inherited the power of Kid Buu, who inherited the power of the Grand Supreme Kai. There's a very high possibility that Oob, not only has God Ki, but is insanely more powerful than even Kid Buu, and he may actually be up there rivaling Goku and Vegeta, if not stronger than them, if he properly trains.
Yeah, I agree
It's
with
very possible.
Yeah,
But it all comes down to training, huh?
I'm gonna let my dog in, bro. I'll be right back.
All right, all right. Let's see here. There's other members of Moro's people that are there. Vegeta's the hero, and I find it funny. No, I'm not, Dustin. I'm not talking about the Moro arc. I'm talking about going back to, like, you know, the going back throughout the series.
Right.
Not now. Yeah, that we'll see if that ever happens or when that happens. Okay. Moving on. Zarbon 2 is not done yet, so he transforms into a monster just like Zarbon. But remember, it was Vegeta that killed Zarbon. And actually, Vegeta brings it up too. Yeah, I've seen plenty like him. This shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, I love it because it's almost like Toyotaro throwing Vegeta a bone and allowing him to kill somebody that he would enjoy killing, you know, because it reminds him of Zarbon, you know.
And he killed that guy too. It's a good little homage. And also, you know what else it means? It means that Zarbon's race is actually like more than just him. You know, there's probably a planet out there with these Beauty and the Beast motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now, here's the question. Are there any women on that planet? I'm going to say no, but we'll keep that between us. So, Vegeta knocks Zarbon 2. I don't know what to call this guy, bro.
He does have a name. It's just escaping me right now.
I don't remember what his name is at all, bro. Like, that's, yeah. Vegeta and him are fighting. And again, I actually like this fight because earlier in the stream I said that I'm very happy when when Vegeta and Goku are not fighting. But this fight in particular, I like it for two reasons. One, Vegeta's not just doing all his forms and doing the typical Vegeta. And two, this fight acts as training for him to apply what he has learned from the Yard Rats. So he picks up this building. Pretty strong feat for Zarbon 2.
Yeah.
And then Vegeta just catches it with one hand and tosses it over. I think that's an awesome scene. You're no match for me. Just stop. This is futile. That's me when I'm debating people about how strong Cell is in Gohan.
Yeah.
Oh boy. He throws this. I guess this is a ship, right? Like a UFO type of ship. It looks like one of Frieza's old ships.
Yeah, I think that is what it is. Yeah. It looks like the ship that he stole the Dragon Balls from and then ran on Namek.
Yeah, he said let's keep his name how it is. Yeah. Let's see. Junior says, scrubbing toilets, listening to this, thank y'all. Well, hopefully that job can be the shits, but I hope that that's not so bad. Hopefully the smell's not all that bad. So here we go. He fires this, it looks like it's a ship, but it's like a wheel. Like he sort of like does it like a wheel. And then here comes Vegeta with, by the way, this is also similar to how Vegeta punched right through Zarbon, through the stomach.
Yep.
Let me hide that. Sorry about that. And then kicks him away. That kick is the same one he hit Frieza with in Resurrection F. Zarbon goes back, and then they're over here like, please don't wreck the place. And then Zarbon 2 reveals that Moro is on Earth. And Vegeta's like, what? So now he's got to hurry up because, you know, he's on Earth.
He's got to hurry up and get there, yeah.
To protect his wife and his kids and whatnot.
Right.
And then damn, bro. The dude blasts it away, just destroys it.
So this is basically like similar to what happened to Frieza when he got killed by his own disc. The dude threw it, and then when he tried to escape, Vegeta like dodged it, and then when he tried to escape, he got hit by his own projectile and died. So Vegeta didn't even kill him; he killed himself.
Right. Yeah. Vegeta says he killed himself. Yeah, I always thought that. I didn't even think of it like the Frieza thing, but I guess it kind of is. Except instead of it being a purple disc, it's a purple ship.
Yeah.
Wacky, bro. Wacky. This arc is a lot better upon reread. I actually am enjoying this arc a lot more, I think.
Yeah.
And now this is discussing using instantaneous movement, right? And there, Vegeta's like, I don't think I need that technique, but the Yard Rats are like, well, how are you gonna get there? You get on a ship, it'll take forever.
Right.
So right now, what's happening is Vegeta's on his way to Earth, Moro's on his way, and it's Goku's still training, but it's gonna build up as this big coming together and like a big clash. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's what they're building up to. Like, we're not there yet, but they're building up to it. So
yeah, so Moro says that he wants to absorb as many planets as possible before he goes to Earth.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't even know if there's a limit to the amount of energy that he can eat. So he wants to experiment to see if there is a limit to the amount of energy he can eat. So
yeah, and that's the thing. So basically, what's happening is Goku, Vegeta, and Moro at the same time
all getting strong.
Exactly. You took the words out of my mouth. They're all getting stronger through different methods. Vegeta's doing the spiritual stuff. Goku's doing the instinctual spiritual stuff. It's also spiritual. And then Moro's just eating energy. So by the time they get to Earth, nobody will be a match for those three. So even Mira says time is almost up. So Goku and Vegeta here, they're going to see if they can apply what they've learned. They leave the room. Then Whis shows up.
Go back.
Wait, what am I?
So the reason they leave the room is because Mira starts to activate his full power, and when he does, his halo starts to pop up.
Where do you see the halo? I didn't see that. Was that
down
in the next?
There, the bottom right page.
I still don't see
when he
it.
starts.
Oh,
to power
right there.
Yeah, when he
right
starts
here. Yeah, I didn't even notice that. That's a good eye, bro. I didn't even notice that.
So the halo is essentially a. If you see the halo, that means they're at full power.
They're an angel. That right there. Like, that confirms he's an angel. And then right when he powers up, here's Whis, and he's basically Whis is trying to explain to him. He's trying to save his ass. He says, "That's enough, brother." And then Goku's like, "Brother." I guess they haven't talked in a long time, so
they haven't.
There's no secrets between angels. And then this is where, and like Goku says, I knew you were weird, but I didn't know you were an angel. And training can only be just training. Clashing against each other at full strength constitutes a battle. That's what you and I talked about earlier in the stream.
Right.
So yeah. And then, okay, so the guys, the fake Zarbon is named Yuzun.
Oh, okay.
Also, he says Shunkan Ito is properly translated as teleportation, not as instantaneous movement transmission. I have always called it teleportation, but I thought instantaneous movement is Shunkan Ito. Like, I don't know. I did a whole video on it, I think. But anyways, yeah, it's not instant transmission, bro. It's a Barry Watson idea.
Right.
So, and then Whis says, was your plan to do battle against Moro? Because remember, I don't know if it's that they're telepathic or that they're all like connected.
Well, he's saying that it was even more egregious that he was planning to go fight Moro.
Right, but how did he even know that? He says, "I'm afraid there's no secrets between angels," so that means that they have a telepathic connection, right?
Yeah, well, that and the Grand Priest watches over him all the time, constant. So yeah.
But even then, how do they know that was Miras's plan? He didn't say he was going to do that.
Right.
So I think there's a possibility they may have like a loose telepathic connection. Like, it's possible.
Well, obviously Miras wanted to stop Moro, but he was trying to use Goku as the catalyst to stop him, so he didn't have to. So they're probably this is damage control.
Yeah, you're thinking that Whis is thinking 5 moves ahead.
Yeah, because if Goku couldn't stop Moro, Miras would. So basically he's thinking, we've got to stop this before Miras pushes it too far, and he actually does try to kill Moro,
Yeah, and Whis knows. And he even tells me, he's like, angels aren't allowed to fight except in training. So, and then he reveals angels who break our code are eradicated without a trace. That means you don't die and go to hell. You are wiped from existence.
Yeah,
and then
that's the only way they can be taken out too, which is wild.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure they can be taken out like from if somebody's more powerful than them, but we haven't seen that yet.
He says that's literally the only way an angel can die is if the Grand Priest erases them, which is pretty wild.
Yeah, but he's okay. Yes, but he's not taking into account, and again, this has not been proven yet. I'm talking about future storylines.
Yeah.
If they do a storyline later on where a villain comes around who's more powerful than the angels, I assume that they can be killed by that villain who's more powerful.
Maybe.
But, well, there's a big but there. It could be possible that maybe the angels are not vulnerable to anybody unless the Grand Priest is killed. See, that's the thing. There's still a lot of mysteries about just how strong these guys really are. Because to me, Jordan, it seems like the reason that Whis is saying that is either because he doesn't think anybody's more powerful than they are, or because we're just never going to see that in Dragon Ball. Like, we're never going to see a villain. And that kind of disappoints me because I want to see a villain that's more powerful than the angels, so that way we really have a problem.
Well, a villain that puts the angels in a position that challenges all their ability to just stay unattached and unbiased.
That's another thing they could do.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying is, it's something to think about. Like, I think that Dragon Ball later on, if they continue the story, logically, power scaling wise, you're gonna have to find somebody stronger than the angels at some point. Because it ain't. Unless they just decide no, like Goku does have a cap, which I think Goku should have a cap, but I don't know about that. Like, I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just talking about like the future here, which really isn't relevant to what we're talking about here. I'm just thinking about the future.
Right.
So Whis tells him that he can't be in the mortal realm anymore, that he's already learned all his lessons. So
which also seems to suggest, that's very important, because that confirms right there that the mortal realm is not the same thing as the realm that Zeno and them live in. It is an entirely different realm. That's an important distinction right there, because a lot of people think they're connected and they're not. Zeno's realm is a completely different realm than the mortal realm itself.
Yeah, no, we talked about that like 4 streams ago or something like that. But the thing is, we haven't seen that realm. I think what people assume is that the mortal realm is the multiverse, but the reason as to why, well, it is, but there's more to it. The reason as to why that's not the case is because the demon realm, which exists outside the multiverse, according to what Dragon Ball Daima taught us, has the rules of life and death. People aren't immortal there. There aren't beings as powerful as angels there. So it seems to me that when he says the mortal realm, I think that includes the demon realm. So I'm just like kind of clarifying that I think he's talking about the multiverse and several other adjacent realms. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
because there's other realms too that, like, the room of spirit and time. You can die in there.
The afterlife.
Yeah, the afterlife is, but that's part of the afterlife.
Yeah, they
is part of Universe 7.
Realm. Right.
Right. No, it is, and that's where it gets interesting. It's a different realm between the context of the Earth. The same thing with how how Mr. Popo refers to the Earth outside of Kami's place as the lower realm. Like, the word realm can confuse people. The room of spirit and time and the heavenly realm, which is basically where Kami and Dende are, it's called the heavenly realm in the Japanese version. Yeah. But it's not a separate realm. Same thing with the afterlife and hell. There are separate realms within the context of the multiverse. What I'm saying is all of that plus the demon realm and the room of spirit and time realm. So I'm just saying that, like, there's I think there's I'm adding context to like what the realm thing is. So I don't know if people care about this. This is something for the cosmology guy. I think I'll get into it at some point. Because I don't want to ramble either, bro.
No, I get it. So we get to see Mirrors as an angel for the first time.
And he tells Goku that he couldn't finish the training, but he did learn, and Goku's like, I'll figure it out. So, and I like that. I actually like that that Goku didn't finish his training.
It doesn't make you feel too confident in Goku's ability to go take down Moro, right?
Yeah. He didn't finish, therefore, there's still room for error. Mm-hmm. And then they Goku has to pilot back the ship himself, And then chapter 56, Warriors Assemble. This is the Galactic Patrol. Now, I love this. As a fan of this type of fiction, whether it be the Nova Corps, the Green Lantern Corps, Star Wars, I love that all of these Galactic Patrol guys are coming to Earth to prepare for battle. Like, and look at
I had to reference that panel right there to draw a full picture of Goku and
which panel? There's a lot of panels here.
You know that picture that they take of Goku and Miris together at the end of the Moro arc, where it's like all of them hanging out.
Oh yeah, that's at the end.
They had a picture of that blue spotted guy there.
Yeah, a weird looking guy.
But only half of his face was there. So I had to like use that to like finish how he looked, because they didn't give me like a full version of what he looked like. But yeah, like it is really cool getting to see all the different Galactic Patrol like up close and in action. Like we saw them like hanging out at Galactic Patrol headquarters, but we never really get to see them like invade a planet together and like try to save a planet as like one unit. That's cool.
Yeah, bro. I think it's like a slug. Not Lord Slug, but like a literal slug.
Yeah.
Now, I want to quickly address this here. Okay. Black Phoenix says, I gotta say, the endless power creep is destroying my enjoyment of Dragon Ball. How exactly can Goku get stronger than shaking the entire universe when he was fighting it as SSG? Well, first of all, that was anime only. And it's probably going to get cut out of the upcoming Beerus remake, but I don't know that for sure. However, your point still makes sense. I actually understand where you're coming from. I don't know if the power creep destroys my enjoyment of Dragon Ball necessarily, but I do think that these characters have gotten way, way stronger than necessary. And I've always been somebody who's preferred the more grounded fights. The reason why I love the tournaments in original Dragon Ball is because, yes, they're wacky and yes, they have energy and all that, but they're grounded. Not everybody can fly. There's actual consequences. What'd you say?
Well, I was going to let you finish. Go ahead.
No. And I see where you're coming from, because it does seem like as these characters get really, really strong, it does seem like it's not as dramatic. And I just really love the more grounded Dragon Ball. And that's something that Daima gave us for a little while. When they had lost their powers, I enjoyed that part of Daima because it made it more challenging.
As far as the whole universe shaking thing,
and yes, Black Phoenix is only in the Super version, not the movie or manga.
So let me give you some more context to that. So Goku was not shaking the universe; he was creating shock waves.
That's right, shock waves.
He was creating shock waves through the collision of the fists between him and Beerus that were threatening to destroy the universe.
And it was him and Beerus, not just him.
And the entire point of that was to teach Goku to use his energy in a way that didn't cause collateral damage.
This is a good explanation.
Yeah, because Goku didn't have enough ki control at that point to use that amount of energy without causing some sort of collateral damage. Piccolo even says, he's like, Beerus is training Goku right now. Like, if you go back and you watch that scene, Piccolo even points out that Beerus is like training Goku.
In the movie, he said that too. So that's Toriyama wrote that.
Training him to basically use his energy well enough that he doesn't cause any collateral damage. Now, I'm going to shit on power scalers a little bit for a second, because there is something that power scalers don't think about when it comes to Dragon Ball characters and their abilities. Okay? You remember how we just saw that Vegeta projected more of his energy than he thought he was capable of doing? So, because these characters...
called suppression.
Right. Just because these characters have a shitload of energy within them does not mean that they can project it well enough to just destroy the entire universe with a giant ball of energy. The amount of control and willpower and focus and strength that it takes to be able to create something that huge and destroy everything with something that huge is not something that the Dragon Ball characters are easily capable of. I know people like to pretend that Goku and Vegeta could just make a giant blast that would consume the entire universe and destroy it, but that's not how it works. That is not how it works at all. Like, Goku having universal ki in Dragon Ball Battle of Gods does not mean that he can shoot a universe's worth of ki out of his hand, because you have to train to be able to project your energy well enough to be able to achieve that feat. It goes beyond just having that much internal energy. So
I
essentially,
don't think you're really shitting on power scalers by saying
well,
that. Some of them
there
know
are
that.
power scalers who think that though,
Right.
and that's the reason that I'm kind of shitting on power scalers, because there are power scalers who do think that Goku and Vegeta can just project so much energy that they can destroy the multiverse.
They
That
can
is
one-shot the universe.
That's not how that works.
Same with Broly.
Yeah, they can have that much ki within them, but that does not mean that they can project it well enough or use it well. That's what ki control is for in Super, right? That was the whole entire purpose of them introducing ki control in Super, is because ki control is also you getting physically stronger, because you can use your energy better, and that makes you physically stronger.
Well,
So the power creep in Super is a side effect of them learning to use their energy better rather than increasing their internal energy, which is what happened in most cases in Dragon Ball Z. So, and I'm not saying that doesn't happen in Super at all, because it does. There is instances in Super where they do overall make their internal chi bigger as well. But the main focus of Dragon Ball Super is learning to use your ki better so you can use more of it. That's like the main focus of it.
I agree with everything you said. The only thing I want to add to it, or at least slightly, because you said they introduced it in Super, when they really didn't. This was talked about in OG Dragon Ball and in Z. I think but it was different because they weren't as strong back then.
Right.
But a good example of what you're talking about is full powered Super Saiyan, aka Super Saiyan Grade 4. When Goku taught Gohan to stay in the Super Saiyan form casually and not to raise his energy, that was him getting his body accustomed to being in that form. That way, when he's time to fight, he can raise it. And that to me is the ultimate suppression. Like, that's an example of it right there.
Mastered Super Saiyan is, or Super Saiyan Grade 5 or whatever you want to call it, is Grade 4. It is very similar. It is very akin to
conceptually.
Yeah, to Super Saiyan Blue. It is very akin to that. Like when Goku masters Super Saiyan, he talks about how he wants to fight as an Earthling, and he has like his Earthling face instead of his Super Saiyan face with the Bruce Lee eyes.
Yeah, he's got more of a chill face.
Yeah, the reason that is because he's basically mastered not letting his emotions affect his conscious thoughts to the point that it hinders his ability to use his energy efficiently. So yes, you're right. It does predate Super in that sense. But Super as an era does focus on that in terms of like what is making Goku and Vegeta stronger as characters in comparison to them just like working out and fighting, like Zenkai, for example. Like Zenkai is like way less of a thing in Super than it was in Dragon Ball Z, like during the Namek saga. Like Dragon Ball Super focuses much more on like spiritual training and being able to use your energy better, I guess is my point. It's not necessarily that it started in Super, it's just that it's much more the focus. Right.
Well, they're going to have to, because now the power is way, but to Black Phoenix's point, that's exactly it. Like, the power scale is so beyond bullshit at this point. I agree with you. Goku can't just flick his finger and destroy everything, but he's still so much more powerful. Like, when people say, like, do you think Perfect Cell could beat, I don't know, Moro? Moro could one-shot Perfect Cell. You understand what I'm saying? And so another one that okay. Let's actually remove Super for just a minute, and let's talk about OG Dragon Ball and Z, the original manga. One of the things that is very frustrating is and it's frustrating not because I get mad at people for getting something wrong, but because I understood this when I was 12, and there's grown men who understand it. Oftentimes, Jordan, I'll see people debating who was more powerful, Majin Vegeta or Super Saiyan 2 Gohan in the Cell Saga. And if you really think that Cell Saga Super Saiyan 2 Gohan is stronger than Majin Vegeta, you need your head examined. Because not only are there visual explanations, not only does Vegeta himself say that Gohan's gotten weaker since he didn't train since the Cell Saga, but we literally hear Piccolo in the anime and manga go, he goes, it seems like he's gotten to where Gohan was, if not higher.
Right.
Majin Vegeta is way stronger than Gohan. Now, do I think he can one-shot Gohan? Maybe not, but he is stronger.
The scaling is going up in every arc, is what you're
every
saying.
arc. And the 7 years between Cell and Buu, Vegeta and Goku trained their asses off while Gohan probably literally was jerking off because he went through puberty. So
Right.
you see what I'm saying? Like, this is a fact. So by Super, we're talking about like dangerous, bro. Very, very dangerous. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that because some people do get the scaling wrong. Now, this right here is an awesome scene, bro.
Avengers
It's-
Assemble, bro.
Oh, bro, it's all of the main players, and we have more coming, and the Galactic Patrol armies behind them. I cannot wait to see this in anime form.
Yeah, me either. This is gonna be dope.
I hope that they whip out every technique they can, including using computers, to make this awesome. And look at this. Yamcha, in a very meta line, says, "Finally my chance to shine." And then
Yep.
Chaozu says, "Been so long, I can still fight. I hope I can still fight." It's almost like a burial, bro. It's
Yeah.
not, but it almost is. And of course, Goku and Vegeta are not there. Of course, they're not there.
Right.
And then here come
Bring
more
Boo back.
ships.
They
Huh?
bring Boo back. They brought
What?
back to the heavenly.
Oh
realm.
yeah, there he is. I was looking for the panel. There it is. Yeah, he's right there. Let me so people can. I totally missed it when I was going down. Okay, and then the castle. Like that's wild, bro. That the castle's being attacked.
Yeah.
The Saudi Arabian look. Here comes freaking Moro's men. So now different parts of Earth are being attacked, and look at that. We've got a magenta. But he's with the Galactic Patrol. But that's not Magenta, is it? It's not him, right?
No,
Or is it
he's
him?
like an evil one. Yeah, he's like an evil equivalent. He's a criminal.
Oh,
whereas-
right. I thought he had the GP symbol.
No,
See the symbol
no,
right there?
he's basically just like he works for Moro's gang. He's like Magenta. I mean, he's the same race.
He's the same race. He's the
Yeah.
same race. That's what I was saying. Same race.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. So now I'm guessing they all split up as teams. So they're all going to separate. And so right now what's happening, let me just summarize it, is there's fights going on all over the planet.
Yeah, this is the scene where Thor should have went for the head in Avengers, where they're all like fighting.
Wakanda.
You know, yeah. This is Wakanda. Yeah.
It's Wakanda and Infinity War. It even looks kind of like that too, with the jungle and shit in the background.
Yeah.
So lots of battles going on in different places. Master Roshi, I like what Roshi says. You can't go relying on your old master for everything. I'm betting you can handle the chump alone. He's still training him, bro, after all these years. Like, you're stronger than you realize. So now, here comes 7-3. Gets behind Gohan and Piccolo. Touches their neck in a very erotic way. And guess what? Now he's got their powers. We are in trouble. So once again, he flicks the Makanko Sapo. This looks almost like the exact same panel from earlier, bro.
Yeah, it is very similar. Yeah.
It's like almost identical.
Yeah.
Now, I love this. Gohan gets in front of Piccolo to protect him, and he
He made this technique specifically to counteract Goku's Makanko Sampo. This is
You mean
like,
Piccolo's Makanko Sapo?
Or yeah, Piccolo's Makanko. This technique right here, if you'll notice, he spins it around. He made this technique to protect from Piccolo's technique, and that's what's so cool about this.
It's like an energy shield.
Yeah, it's like his defensive version of the technique almost, which is cool.
I love this technique. I love
Yeah.
it. I kind of wish he. You know what would have been awesome, bro? Holy shit! It just hit me. You remember how speaking of Avengers, how the wizards can create when Thanos says rain fire and all the missiles come down in Endgame, and the wizards create that shield to protect everybody, and they all like go like this real fast, and they make all those shields. What if? Oh my God! This is the problem with adapting shit out of order. What if in Superhero, Cell Max did the fucking Shin Godzilla gimmick where he blasts energy from all his pores, the pink
and then
blast,
he uses the
and Gohan creates the fucking barrier to protect everybody? That would have been sweet, bro.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
That would have been sweet. It's like, okay, I don't look. I don't know if they're going to redo Superhero. They did it for the manga. They may do it for the anime. I don't know, because all we know for sure is that Moro is coming, followed by Granola. I don't know if they're going to remake Superhero 2, but if they do, I would love it if they did that, and they probably won't. I can't just tweet at them like the gentleman earlier said that I could.
Right.
Speed Punch says, I'm on the Moro arc right now and love it. When I saw the stop motion for Moro, I was like, the anime better be as good as that. Yeah, we watched that with Heish on the
I
After
watched
Dark
that stream. Yeah.
Oh, it was a good time. Yeah, that was the late one. And then this one right here from Hayden Beer. That panel is the Avengers. He's talking about where the fuck was it?
It was ways back. Yeah.
No, there it is, right there. That is a great panel. That I agree. I mean, I'm not gonna argue that. Let's get back to where we were, because this is a little bit of a longer stream than normal. And then he calls it Light of Death, which isn't that bad of a translation. Excuse me. But now, guess what? 7-3. And I like how this is weird. So, okay. So they're both firing Makanko Sapo. So they're having a beam struggle, but within the beam struggle is the shield.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to even describe this.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's like they're trying to push the shield to each other.
Yeah.
There's no way to quantify how strong Yamcha is in this arc. He's probably stronger, but I wouldn't surmise he's that much stronger than he was before. You know? Bro, this guy right here. This guy said special beam make Tarble cannon. Brother, you have an agenda, I can tell. Even though we've already gone over that earlier. So he blasts OG-73, similar to what happened to Cell in the Final Flash. But, much like Cell, OG-73 can regenerate thanks to Piccolo's abilities. Now, here's the question, Jordan. If OG-73 had not touched Piccolo's neck, he would have been dead right there.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
I don't think he can regenerate willingly. Yeah.
No, he can't.
So,
he had to activate Piccolo's abilities to do that. Yeah.
talk about good timing. So, he starts to fire energy, tapping into Gohan. Gohan tries to go in. This is pretty awesome. So Gohan does what
This will
Goku
look
did.
dope animated.
If they do it right.
Yeah.
Oh my god. He does what Goku basically did to Kefla. Where
Now you'll notice the blasts he's riding though are Piccolo's. Piccolo is shooting blasts for him to jump on as he's getting closer to OG-73, which is dope.
The purple ones, what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, the purple ones are Piccolo's. Even though this, it dissipates. Yeah, he stepped on it, it dissipated. So, yeah, it's awesome. That's pretty awesome, bro. So, Piccolo, creates, an imaginary staircase, right? Something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what I've been talking about, bro. I agree with you. It really needs to happen. Okay. He's coming in. He comes in to hit 7-3. Knocks his ass into that lake. And then, this is interesting. So, Jocko reveals 7-3 can only use one set of powers at a time. So there's no way he can dodge attacks from a duo. So that is a weakness. That is a serious weakness, bro.
It is, yeah.
Meanwhile, in the cities, bro, this fight is taking place I actually forgot most of this. That this fight is encompasses everywhere. This whole thing, dude, this could be amazing.
Being invaded as a whole, yeah.
The Moro arc is so much better than I remembered.
Yeah,
I mean, I did promise people that I would give it a second chance because I didn't like it the first time that much. I thought I got, and again, we'll see how I feel when it's all over. But I'm noticing things now that I like a lot more. Plus, you can see that's the thing about Dragon Ball is it's not just Dragon Ball. It's any good movie or any good book. When you watch a good movie and then watch it back a second time and notice things that you didn't notice the first time, I think that's what makes a good story. Same thing with stuff like Pulp Fiction, stuff like Memento, even Godzilla -1. Every time you watch, you get something new out of it. Yep. And that's how you know it's good. So here we have Piccolo and Gohan doing the Masenko and the Makanko Sapo, two of their signature moves. And I love how one is twirling and then they end up doing a combo. That's a badass fucking what would you even call this, bro? Makanko Semko? What do you even call this shit?
That's a good name for it. I like that.
Makanko Senko? What the fuck, bro? I forgot all about. Why didn't they do this against Cell Max?
Good question.
It probably wouldn't have worked because you got to hit him right in the forehead. Because Piccolo had to hold him. You know.
Right.
Did you see the Dokkan?
I did. I loved it.
It was pretty cool, right? Yeah.
I loved it. Yeah.
The Dokkan animators have gotten real good.
Yeah. Well, I like that they gave Gohan that like beast face where he's like actually looks angry and like he's having trouble controlling himself. I think they did a really good job. Portraying
That makes me want them to redo superhero in an anime. You know what I mean? 2D style. Yeah. But I do still like the movie. So he taps into Moro's power. I guess it's hasn't been 30 minutes, or how did he even get Moro's power?
Once he uses the power, he only has 30 minutes to use it. But with Moro,
I see. Right.
With Moro's, he put a backup. So essentially, with Moro's power, it's a little bit different because Moro talks about how he basically put a backup of his own power within OG-73. So it's not just him copying the power. Like, he also put a backup of his magic power.
I think I remember that. Was that before this or after this? I think I
They explain it after. They explain it whenever,
Yeah, when Moro arrives.
Yeah.
Yeah, I genuinely enjoy it. So here comes 17 and 18. Right, they're back, and that's cool. Like, that's cool. Which one's that 7-Eleven guy? Was he the one I kicked? No, he's got no. She goes. They say he's got no emotion, so yeah, probably.
Right.
But these obviously most of the audience should know by now that the artificial humans, the androids, are human. They're enhanced humans. Lapis and Lazuli is what their original names were as humans, and then Dr. Garo kidnapped them when they were delinquents and upgraded them to make them into the androids, the artificial humans.
Right.
Really artificial, to be honest with you. Artificial human and android are both wrong. Like, in Japanese, they're called Jinzo Ningen, which literally means artificial human. But that's not really an applicable word for them. For them, it's more like a cybernetically enhanced human, like a cyborg.
Yeah, because they've been enhanced at the cellular level. And I think that's why Toriyama thinks of them as artificial humans, is because their cells themselves have become artificial. But that doesn't necessarily make them artificial human. An artificial human would be born an artificial human.
Right.
But they were augmented to have to have at the cellular level to have cells work that way. So.
But the thing that's funny is the word artificial literally means man-made, and technically that means that every one of us are artificial humans because every one of us came from a sperm cell. So, I mean, it's a weird way to look at it, but there you go. Do you think they should acknowledge 17 and 18's real names in the series? Actually, I would like that.
Yeah,
I would like that. I don't know if they will, but I would like if we got a little bit of backstory on them, even if it's just 1 or 2 scenes. Okay, Moro has arrived this time for real. It seems like he's here finally now.
No,
right? Finally.
Now. No, he is.
Yeah, finally, bro. Meanwhile, Vegeta is like trying to learn this, still hasn't learned it yet, and then Vegeta can sense the Earth. Now, this is a big deal. Vegeta is on Yardrat, which is not anywhere in the solar system. It's outside the solar system. Therefore, he can sense the Earth all the way where he's at because his spirit power is so much higher. And then he's saying there's still time because Moro hasn't joined the fight yet. Meanwhile, Goku's making friends with squid monsters on this moon.
Well, he's lost. He doesn't know how to get to Earth. He has to actually stop and get directions, which is...
This actually seems like it seems like a bonus. It's not a bonus chapter, but it seems like one. It's like a gag.
Yeah, it is like an end of chapter gag. Now, then we get into what Frieza's been up to during the war.
This right here is we're done pretty much. This is a bonus chapter or a bonus few pages where now we see Frieza. This is after the events of Broly, so he's got Barry Blue with him, and they're basically talking about the Galactic prison escape. And do you want to comment on any of this?
Yeah. So if you'll go to the top left one,
up here.
Yeah, he says
he doesn't want to get involved.
He doesn't want to get involved, but he also says that he can't stand Moro and their crew because they're criminals and they're ick, right?
Which is funny because he's a criminal.
Well, that's what he's saying. He said, "Aren't we criminals?" And Frieza and Barry Blue say, "No, we're not criminals. We're businessmen." So that just goes to show how different they look at themselves in comparison to what they actually are. Like, they think that they're like businessmen because they steal planets from races who can't maintain them,
And
and
they
then
sell them.
sell those planets to other species who have the capital and the. It's basically like he's a real estate agent. Like
Yeah,
it's like
but he's the crooked one because real estate agents don't kill the people in the house and take the
that's
house.
true. That's true. But they will come to your house, and if you can't maintain it, if you can't afford to maintain it, they'll kick your ass out and then sell it to somebody who can. So he is, like he's basically a real estate agent, which is.
You know what though? What's interesting about what you just said is that it sort of reminds me of, and this is something I've always found interesting. All great villains don't see themselves as villains. A lot of them see themselves as actually doing something right, like Thanos, like the upcoming Doctor Doom in Doomsday, and even the one in the comics. They don't think that they're evil. They think that they're just. You know what I mean? That what they're doing is for a good reason. In Frieza's case, I'm not sure if I'd go that far. I think Frieza knows he's done evil things and is an evil guy, but he will justify it in his own head, saying, well, I have this much power, I might as well use it. But that's not a good justification. So, and then, he doesn't want to do it, so they're searching for other planets, and that's it. So, once again, that 22 planets line from the anime about how Universe 7 only has 22 planets is one of the dumbest, stupidest things I ever. Jordan's gone. What happened to Jordan? Oh, what the hell happened? You're gone. Oh, okay. Jordan just lost power. Shit. Hold on. Let me ask him something. We may just wrap up the stream here. Do I wrap up or do you want to come back? We're almost done, y'all. Yeah, Jordan he just totally lost power, though. Because that's the end. We're literally at the end. We are literally done. So, okay, he says he's coming back. All right, y'all, he's coming back. So, in the meantime, let me see if I can pull up something that I want to show him. I think, oh no, he's not back yet. He's coming back, though. Bro, Jordan got the lock-in on his internet. This is not internet. This is his power went out. Like, his power flashed on and off. I want to see an arc where Frost wants to get revenge on Frieza by teaming up with Universe 7 temporarily. I'm not against that, but would they trust him? Like, they would have to trust him, Don J. Do you think they will expand on Moro's backstory in the anime? I certainly hope so. And I hope that they include the Demon Realm stuff. You know, I've got a video with Jordan. I have a video with Jordan about the how Moro is from the Demon Realm. We have evidence of it now. And that's coming out very, very soon. That's coming out very, very soon. So be patient with that. He's coming back. So he said it'll take a second. So anyways, let me see how many volumes are left. 24 total, so 12 volumes. We're on 12 right now. This is volume 12, so 24 is the last one. But a lot of what we do is a lot of the latter volumes is going to be the superhero stuff, and I'm not sure how we're going to tackle that, considering that like we're so like close to so close to the like it being like the movie, but we'll see what they do. We'll cover it. It's just I'm not sure what I'm going to say about it. It's Pale Gray. Is there any truth to the rumors Toriyama made some inputs or changes to the Moro anime before his passing? The only implication of that is what Akira Yoku said. Akira Yoku said that they wanted to make the remake arcs more into Toriyama's vision, and that Toriyama helped with the Moro arc. We don't know how much, though. Like, we do not know how much, considering that he's not writing any of the anime scripts. For Daima, Toriyama actually looked over the anime scripts, which is something he's never done. Toriyama's never supervised the anime strips. The anime, did I say strip? The anime versions, like he's never scripts. He's never He's never supervised the anime versions. So, by the way, y'all, Jordan said he just lost his power again, so this could be like a recurring problem. So we are gonna wrap it up. We'll catch. I said strip. I know. We'll catch you guys next time. All right. Take care of yourself and each other. I'll have a new video coming out soon. I don't know if it'll be this week or next week, but we should be back tomorrow. Not tomorrow. I might be back tomorrow, but probably next week. So listen. Have a good one. Take care of yourself and each other. Jordan says bye and thank you. We will be back. No, he lost his power because he lives in the forest and a tree fell. It's probably a tree that fell. He lives in like the backwoods, bro. Like legit. So, anyways, y'all, I'm out. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time.